All right, restarting. Happy Sunday. Welcome to this week's planning call. We're really excited to sit down and we open this up to even some of our newer partners who may be listening in for the first time. And these calls are so important for a couple of reasons. And number one, the first one is just fitting it in your busy life, right? Like it's much easier to have a plan. But secondly, as we move through this ever-changing world of social media, it really helps to not just throw spaghetti at a wall. It really helps to have intention and thought and a plan behind what you're throwing out on social media, because you never want to work really, really hard and not see the fruits of your labor, because then you start to feel like this business is too hard and unrealistic to do long term. So the goal for today is really to give you guys a clear structure. Sorry, I'm sick. So not only do I hear my heartbeat in my ears, I hear like everything that I say. To give you guys a clear structure for the week so that you feel confident moving in and in your stories and in your posting, because when you have a plan, man, your confidence level changes when it comes to what you're talking about. So, we for months have done marketing calendars and here's what the plan is, but let's go a little bit deeper. And we'll start today with the concept of reels. So a lot of partners are testing out this idea of doing your reels in episodes, like a series, if you will. So the challenge right now is to come up with a series that you can do a 7-day series of. So some examples. Nicole is doing 7 ways you can use pumpkin in some recipe ideas. And the first time she posted it, I was like, dude, I'm tuning in for the next 6 because I love pumpkin, right? So I instantly was like, oh, this works. Like this is catchy, making people want to come back. So Heather is doing, 7 things I wish I would have known in my first pregnancy, like part 1, right? Part 1 of 7. So just think of this bigger concept that you can teach or share or provide value to your audience in. And then we're going to take that one step forward. So you come with your series, and then we're going to spend the next few minutes coming up with your 7 topics. So I just did mine. So my series is how I went from overly addicted to food to in the best shape of my life in my 30s. So that's my series. And then I have 7 topics on how I did that. So part 1 was this, and part 2, I'm going to talk about this. So 7 different ways that I overcame food addiction. Again, really think about serving your audience and your niche, right? Food addiction is not something that probably everybody even on this call can relate to, but it's super specific to my person and my people. And what I'm inviting to right now is a weight loss challenge, right? Like I'm hosting a November weight loss challenge. People who overeat probably have a goal of losing weight. So you can see how it all really starts to tie together, and where you find your people, and when you find it really will start to bring in your niche, right? It's going to really start to target your ideal people. So don't be afraid to get really, really specific about who you're serving. I know Heather was hesitant for a little while to go right into pregnancy and that person, because you feel like it's putting you in a box, like, oh, I can only help people who are in their first trimester pregnant with their second baby, right? Like you feel like it puts you in this box, but really you're speaking to your people so much more directly that you'll actually be able to help your audience rather than mass inviting everybody. So let's take just a few minutes to really nail down what our series topic is going to be for the week, and then start to plan out your 7 topics. And I'm telling you, the minute I got my 7 on there, I was like, holy smokes, this is going to make posting for the next 7 days so incredibly easy, because the work is done for me. So if you want to mute me, I'm going to talk for just a few more minutes. If you want to get working, you can, but I just want to share a couple more things. So something that I've really been sharing in my feed is recipes. That's kind of the direction that I've been going. I'm not going to completely abandon that during this series session. So I still plan to sprinkle in some recipes and just do more than one post a day, right? There's nothing wrong with doing more, but you want to do whatever you can do consistently. So if you're 1 post a day, then go with 1 post a day. I'm planning to do 2 posts a day every few days. So I'm not going to throw out like 5 posts in one day and then not post for 5 days. You can see kind of how that like is a huge dip. So try to just pick like a consistent, steady pace that you can run at as far as posting goes. I had one more thing to say. I don't know what it was. Okay. I'll mute myself. Let's take just a few minutes to get these a series concept down and your topics for the week.
Can I just ask real quick, where are you guys making your covers for your reels? Are you making them in Canva?
Yeah, so I've made just like my text that I'm putting over it. So my series title I've made in Canva. And then what I do is I literally just click on the picture. So here's mine from yesterday. So then I leave this banner in this font in this text, and then I just click this, click replace, and then change my photo. So then it's just done for me. Okay. Just in the interest of time, Nicole and I have some exciting stuff to share at the end of this call, so I want to keep moving us along. So if you didn't get your ideas down, hopefully you have a plan as far as coming up with a series. Now, if I'm being completely honest, this took me 3 days to come up with my series. I didn't stop posting in those 3 days. I still shared my recipes. But I needed some like time to just mentally sit with myself and figure out like, what makes sense and what can I really, do here. So if you didn't get something on this call, take some time today to just kind of sit and think about, a series and who you want to talk to and what you can share with them. Don't feel like if you didn't come up with it in this call that you're failing, because it took me a little bit too. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to think about what we're inviting to this week and how we can tie in these posts to what we're talking about in our stories. So we're going to go on each day as you have your ideas. So I know what today's topic is going to be for my reel. So what are a couple of talking points in my stories that I can bring this together, right? So for example, one of my ways that I overcame food addiction, as simple as it sounds, was adding water into my routine, right? Drinking water before I eat a meal, because it minimizes how much I eat and how much I snack, etc. So in my stories today, I will do a water check-in, like, have you hit your water goal? What's your water goal for today? Don't forget to drink your water, something along those lines where I can talk about water. And then I want you to write down a couple of talking points in your stories for each one of your days to kind of correlate them, and a poll plan for each day. So have you put up your Christmas tree? Are you hosting Thanksgiving? Yesterday, somebody told me the holidays stress them out. That really blew my mind. So maybe a poll of like, do you love the holidays or do they stress you out? Like, whatever it is, but think about some non-inviting, so non-call to action polls that you can get in your story every single day. And now I will say, these are something you can do on a whim pretty easily. But again, having a plan down will ensure that you don't miss that opportunity to get a poll up every day, because these polls are going to be huge in your connecting through the week. Having a place to connect with people. And you've got to really pay attention to, follow your insights, and check on what polls you post are actually driving engagement, right? Like, so for me, it's opinion-based polls. If I ask people their opinion on something, my response rate goes way up. So really think about that and how you can get the most people to vote in your polls, because the idea is to take that into conversation in your DMs, right? Like, not just to get engagement on your polls, like, who really cares how many people are watching your stories if you're not taking the time to connect and talk to them in your stories? Don't waste those people that are there. So get them to respond and then send them a DM with a question. Like, keep the conversation going. So let's take a few moments to just jot down those poll ideas and how you're going to generate that conversation. And then I'm just going to keep talking so we can move through this stuff. I don't know how long have we been doing, a half hour or an hour for this call? Just like a half hour, right? So, hour, I have no idea how long we've been doing. Another thing I wanted to mention was I really want to encourage you to focus on sharing your supplements for the next week. So really start to look at your day and which supplement you don't need to share every single supplement every single day. Here I am making my Energize. Here I am making my shake here, right? Especially those of us who use like 400 of the supplements every single day. So I want you to pick one supplement for each day this week to really kind of be your focal point. Like, what are you going to share? Or maybe it's one supplement for the week, right? Like, I really hit first thing last week and I share first thing over and over and over again. So I want you to just pick a couple of supplements, 1 to 3 or whatever, that you really want to focus in this week. And I want you to encourage you to share them in different ways. So not the exact same boomerang of your Energize 7 days, but maybe you're talking in your stories while you're making your Energize. And then maybe you're sharing like I'm so tired. Thank goodness for Energize. You know what I mean? Whatever. Come up with different ways to share about these products, because it's amazing how you can say the same thing to the same person over and over and over, and then you say it a little different, and all of a sudden they're ready to purchase, right? Like, I don't know what it is, but just keep in mind that you want to be repetitive in oversharing something, but thinking of different ways to overshare that same topic can be really, really helpful. So maybe so I'm doing all of this like in my week's plan for the week. So writing down, all right, Monday, I'm really going to focus on my Energize because it's Monday and we're getting out of bed and the time change and all the things, right? Like maybe that's where you're going to focus. But I really want you to have at least one supplement every single day that you're sharing. And it's okay if it's the same one in a couple of days in a row. But make sure you're sharing those supplements, because what you use is what your people will use. Also, this tactic here with sharing a supplement every single day is what's going to combat your price objections when you start talking price with people. Because when people sign up with me, they know that my results are generated from X, Y, and Z. My workouts, my nutrition, my shakes. They see everything that I'm doing all the time. And they know that this is the requirement to get the results that I've gotten. If you never share your supplements and then you hit somebody with a supplement package, they're going to say, I just want access only, because that's all they think you're really doing is access only. And maybe that's a red flag for you to say, okay, am I really sharing my supplements enough if people think that all they need is the fitness platform, right? I had somebody sign up yesterday with the craziest package I think I've ever done. She didn't want a TSP, but she was insistent that she had Bevy and paid full price for Bevy with her access, because she like if you watch my stories, I share Bevy pretty regularly. And she's like, I need that like snack deterrent. I got to have it. So she needed a Bevy package. So we built her own Bevy package instead of a TSP. It works, right? So just keep in mind, like, make sure you're sharing those supplements. There's more value in it. And for me, detaching from, I'm sharing this supplement today with the intention of somebody purchasing today. That is not like accurate at all, and not the goal at all. It's more along the lines of that, right? If I share Bevy over and over and over, my people are going to start to see the value in Bevy and add it into their routine. Then the goal isn't to make a sale today by sharing your supplement today. Okay, and then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go through our week and we're going to fill out all the things, right? Do you have the national wake up call in there? If you can't catch it live at 11 o'clock, totally okay. But do you have a spot in your week, preferably early in the week, that you're going to pencil in when you're going to listen to that? Driving in your car, your commute to work? Like, when do you plan on getting in the national wake up call? Are you going to be on the TFTF call Monday night? Are you going to plan to stay for that power hour? Are you going to be on our team call? Your own team call. If I host one, or you host one, whatever the case may be. Get your team calls in there. And then I want you to take it even one step further and pencil in when you plan to post your reels, when you plan to sit down and do your invite pockets. Like those pockets of time matter. And they're really going to matter when Nicole and I share, kind of what's coming here in a few minutes. But really having those pockets of time planned out in your calendar they matter. They really do matter. You cannot just wing this business. Even if you are someone who works it in what we call pockets of time, right? You're so busy that you don't sit down and do this 8 hours a day, and you have to work it in pockets of time. Those pockets of time have to be intentional, not just winging them, right? If you want to see the most success and not feel like you're spinning your wheels all the time. Nicole, do you want to talk about what we have coming?
Sure, happy to. All right, you guys. So I have been reading the book Atomic Habits, and I've read it like, I don't know, 12 times, but never actually finished it. So I actually finished the book this week. And I was super inspired by this last chapter. And so I want to kind of explain where this came from before we kind of dive into what we're doing. So are any of you like NBA people? Probably not. I'm not. Oh, you are. Okay, cool. So Pat Riley is a famous coach, and he had one of the best NBA teams back in 1985, 1986. They won like every game, and then they went to playoffs and they lost like their first or second game. And so he put together this system of giving them points for every action that they took to help them measure their effort, right? To help them measure whether they did, better week over week or worse week over week. And so that long term that they would continue to improve and be 1% better every day, right? And he scored these based on their goals. But I came up with the concept of like every time we sit down to work, let's score ourselves, right? And so kind of taking the tracker and pivoting it a little bit to be to help measure what we're doing more effectively so that we can continue to improve week over week instead of just checking a box. And so Katie and I came up with a bunch of different ways that you guys can earn points. And so we are going to encourage you guys to track everything that you're doing. And with each thing that you are earning a point for, you're going to add those up and you're going to divide it by the time spent. So we want you guys to pay attention to how much time you are working the business. That is so important. And I think that is going to be huge for you guys to really start paying attention. Like, okay, how much time am I actually spending? Am I sitting down for an hour and knocking out a bunch of work, but also like wasting half an hour scrolling? Or am I sitting down in 15-minute pockets here, 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 and here? And how effective am I being during that time? I think that's so awesome to like just really help evaluate yourself every single day, but also on a week over week basis. So we're going to be scoring you guys or working together with you to score your effort, to score your actions. And then each week we're going to spotlight one of you, whoever has the most points, and we're going to be giving you guys some prizes. And hopefully that little like competition gives you an edge to like want to do better, right? And that's kind of the hope here is that you're going to see not only your own effort, but you're going to see the effort of the others on our team. And it's not to say that you're not as good as somebody else. It's really to score yourself and keep improving. One of you might have more time than the other, right? So that's not exactly a level playing field. But we just really want to get you guys kind of focused on the daily activities, paying attention to which of those daily activities you're doing well, which of them you're not doing enough of, and then continue to improve. So I'm going to share my screen here. I can. Katie, I think you have to let me. Okay, so here are all of your names. The actions that you're taking, we're going to be tallying those up every day, getting the date in here, and then totaling those points up. Here are the ways to earn points. And these are all things that you guys are super familiar with, right? So posting every day. We just, we sat down and we planned that all out for the week. So actually posting and trying not to skip a day, right? This will hopefully help you be more consistent with that. So whether that's a still post or a reel, getting something on your feed every day. Talking in your stories with your voice, like that is so key to help build that relationship with your audience. So actually talking in your stories every day, doing a poll in your stories, inviting one person to be a client, inviting one person to be a partner, sharing a supplement in your stories. These are things that Katie just talked about, right? These are things that we're actually putting in our planner. We're really like trying to get you guys to do these things on a daily basis. Sending a cart. Planning out your week, like I put that on here because I think that is such an important piece of our business, right? Actually sitting down to plan out your week. Like let's do that. Let's do that every week. And kudos to all of you. You get a point for doing that today. Share a piece of your story. Talk about the business. So sharing a piece of your story, talking about, you know, like Katie said about her addiction to food, like sharing a little bit about that. Like what was an example of one time that Katie, you know, binged on whatever, cake and ice cream, I don't know. Just sharing something that is going to resonate with that person on the other side, right? What is something that you used to do that you're not doing anymore? What is something you used to do that the supplements help you with now, right? Kind of tying in your piece of the story to what we do every day, or a few times a week, or whatever that is. Share something in your daily life. So I really try to share something that my kids are doing every day. Again, just like relating to the audience, like I'm always at the rink, right? So a lot of the moms that I work with are also always at the rink. So it's just like, they get it, right? They get that lifestyle. Show a product you love plus why you love it. Kind of going that step further, not just pouring your Energize or not just pouring your Bevy, but talking about why you love it. Sharing a testimonial with other clients. I've been doing this a lot more, and I think it's really powerful. It's really impactful. Something that Melanie Mitro talks a lot about. Again, like showing people proof that you're actually helping others is going to help them build that trust in you to help them. So whether that's your own client or somebody from the group that you're in, it doesn't matter, right? What we do is helping people get results. So let's make sure that we're sharing, whether that's daily or every couple days. Again, you get to choose that, but it's something that we need to be doing on a regular basis. Referencing the group that you're hosting. So what's going on in the group that you did today? What was a win that somebody shared? Did somebody not hit snooze? Like, let's share that, right? Just sharing those little wins, and maybe even kind of teasing about the meal plan that you shared in your group, right? Just little things that are going to piece together what to expect when they sign up with you. Showing your personality. So for me, I like to share like my outfit of the day. I'm a fashion kind of person, and I like to share my outfit of the day. People love that. Are you going to share like a money saving hack? Like, is that part of your personality? Katie, obviously I thought of you. Something you collect, right? How can you share something about you personally that somebody is going to resonate and say, oh, I do that too. Or want to know more about what your daily life is like. So I want to hear from you guys if you want to add anything to this list of points. Did we miss anything? Is there something that you'd like to see on there? And then as far as tracking goes, you're going to track total working time by setting a stopwatch. That is what I used to do when I was working like full-time corporate job and had very little time to work my business. I would literally set a stopwatch because it's just so easy to get distracted, right? It's too easy to scroll, or it's too easy to spend an hour making Canva graphics when that is not moving your business forward. Like, we are not spending an hour on our business making Canva graphics, right? We have to be more efficient about that stuff. And if you're not good at Canva graphics, like, there's a million out there. So maybe you just need to go find some or ask. And then kind of keeping track, like, when are you working, and can you be more consistent with that, with the time, especially? Like, is that 5 a.m. every morning? Is that 8 p.m. every night? Is that noon to 1? Actually, like, being intentional about the time that you're putting in or what time you are working. And then we've got a calculation there. So taking the number of points that you earn divided by the time spent. And that's going to give you a decimal percentage, and then you times that by 100 to get your score. So we are super pumped about this. I think it's a really fun new way to kind of motivate us. What do you guys think? Want to hear from you. Do you like this? Do you think this will help you? Is there anything that you want to add? Delete?
I just want to add, when we were talking about, how to calculate points, how to generate this score, using your stopwatch, not even in just your pockets of time, but just for the entire day, right? So you wake up, you click start, I'm going to sit here and work. I'm going to then move on. I'm done working. So I'm going to stop. And then when I start again in another pocket, I'm going to start and then I'm going to stop, right? So I'm not necessarily tracking that I'm working 10 minutes here and 10 minutes there. You definitely can. But for somebody like me, who I really do just try to be as efficient as possible, using this, and then at the end of the day, taking the 3 minutes that it would take to sit down and say, okay, I worked a total of this many minutes today, and here's what I did. Don't let this go like days and then try to go back and figure out, okay, so yeah, I worked from like 6 to 7, and then I sent this many invites, I think, and I'm going to go back and count my conversations, because that's how I used to track, right? Like I used to go back when we did stuff like this when I first started. And I used to go back and try to be like, okay, so I started this many conversations, or I would count my chats to know how many invites I sent. I just really want to encourage you guys. Like, I know it feels like extra work. At least it did. That was my personality. I was like, whoa, like tracking means extra work. But I really think there's a lot of power in self-evaluation if you track with this stopwatch and take the time at the end of each night to just kind of jot down it. You don't have to evaluate in that moment. You don't have to think about your work efforts or how much you did or didn't do. Just jot it down. This many minutes, I got this many points, and then close it and move on, because the focus really is going to be, maybe week 1 we spotlight who has the most points. But maybe week 2, we spotlight who had the biggest growth in their personal points from week 1 to week 2, right? Not necessarily a comparison against everybody else, but maybe you were like, holy smokes, I'm going to do this. And then you get more points. Heather said, what about adding something for connections, like responding to poll clicks and reaching out to new followers? Yeah, and I think 1 point for doing that, like 1 point for going back and responding to your poll people, not necessarily, a point per person, but a point per activity, right? So for taking the time to go respond to your polls or sending welcome messages to new followers, I think are both great ways to earn points. Good idea.
How about getting an email out? How many of you are sending like a weekly email?
I actually meant to talk about that in my planning pockets this morning. So one thing that I've been really doing is not necessarily weekly, I need to be better, but really being intentional before a launch of something. So for this, we've got Monday starting all the super blocks. I sent an email to my entire email list a couple of days ago saying, here's what's out there, here's what it is, but then taking it one step further and remembering to send a reminder email, because hello, we're all busy and we ignore that first email because we have time, right? It's not at the deadline yet. So I sent another one today saying, tonight at 8 p.m. is the last chance to get in this weight loss challenge if you want in there. So hitting them again. Yeah, I think emails are really, really important.
Yeah, on that note, if you don't have a ton of customers, right, just going in your back office and clicking on reports and my customers, you can run a list of all of your customers. And then you can export that list to get a spreadsheet with everybody on it. If you have multiple business centers, don't forget like about your spouse's account and who's under them. So for me, I have 3 different reports that I run, mine, my husband's, and my second business center. And so every month I run that report again, fresh, and then I'll send like the monthly what's going on. I'll send a reminder. I'll send, just kind of something fun mid-month, like, recipes or some sort of challenge, like self-care challenge or whatever. So just some different things. Like I think weekly is a really, is like really good. Once a month is like a great starting point. So whether you're doing that just once a month or 4 times a month, either way, just getting in the habit of doing that, getting the habit of looking at your report, and even looking at, this is something I'm really terrible about, is actually looking at like who's ordering, maybe sending like thank you messages to them, right? Just, reaching out and saying, hey, thanks so much for your Shakeology order this month. Like, how are you liking snickerdoodle, or how are you liking cookies and cream? Here's a recipe that I have been using that I really love, right? And just kind of touching base with them. So just a couple of other ideas. I use Flowdesk. I can't remember if it's free or not. I do pay for Flowdesk, but I think it's because I have some other pieces to it set up. Like somebody can come and buy a course from me on there. So I'm not sure of the price, but Flowdesk is amazing, has some really great templates.
So I didn't invest in email marketing for a long time. And I YouTubed Streak, and I tried really hard to implement Streak in Gmail. I downloaded MailChimp and I tried MailChimp. And while I think that there are a ton of really great free options out there, and honestly, I sent manual emails for a really long time. I just literally copy and pasted email addresses in my Gmail and I sent them that way. What I found was that I wasn't consistent in the work because it was hard. It was so hard and so time consuming, especially when you hit a certain number of people in your back office or on your email list, and your Gmail only allowed like 500 or something. So I was having to send like multiple emails, and I was really struggling, especially with multiple accounts and spouse accounts. So I invested in Flowdesk, and every single time I send an email, I am blown away at the amount of time it saves me. I sent an email this morning to 919 people in less than 7 minutes. That was creating the entire thing, putting in a link for them to join, a call to action. It automatically puts my 3 recent posts from Instagram, links them right at the bottom so that they have all those clickable links and I'm always sharing recipes, right? Those types of things. So they're automatically there. And then I just boom, send it. And then I can track the analytics. And this is the part that I really, really like. And I'm not telling you to go invest in Flowdesk if you're not ready, but I'm just telling you, like, it took me a long time to make the decision, and it was well worth it, because once you send the email, you can click on your analytics, and it will not only show you how many people open your email, but it'll show you how many people click on a link in your email. And then it'll show you who is clicking the links in your email. And for me, this was a huge piece because I can see trending. Okay, this girl keeps clicking every link in my email. And if I recognize that person and she's somebody that I talk to or engage with on social media, then I go give her extra love and attention on social, because I know she's interested based on the fact she's clicking all my links in my emails. So for me, Flowdesk what was an investment in my business, but has been the best investment I've made in my business.
All right. So how do you guys want to actually like use this? Do you feel like having a spreadsheet that you can access every day is going to be something that you're going to actually do? Or do you feel like you're going to keep track of these points on a piece of paper and check in with Katie or I or the group? How do you feel like that is going to best serve you guys? We can give you all access to the spreadsheet, and every night you can kind of come in here and put an update, or is that too much?
I think that there is another level of accountability if we're updating the tracker, you know, when you're done with your work for the day. That was something for me when we shared like drop your tracker. I noticed like if you never decide you're done working for the day, then did you ever really work in pockets, right? You know what I mean? Like you need to be able to know like, okay, I'm done. I'm not working anymore today, and kind of close out your day, go put it in the tracker and be done. I too, Cassie, am a paper tracker. I'm not a whatever, but I don't mind going in at the end of the day and kind of throwing my numbers that are I paper tracked in a tracker too. And
Just
I
kind
think,
of,
oh, go ahead.
oh, just brainstorming in my head too. I've been using notes a lot, like just for my to-do list on my phone because I am out and about so much. So I'm thinking of like maybe even copying and pasting this into the notes in my phone and just like, you know, clicking the little checkbox. Just another idea for you guys. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's a really good one. And I agree, Heather, you know, we've been doing this 7-day reels challenge. I don't know, you know, everybody in here got in on that with Jamie or not, but having, you know, really utilizing that Q4 chat pod to say, all right, my points are updated, or, you know, here it is, whatever, like I updated the template or dropped my scores or whatever, you know, just kind of keeping everybody at that accountability to track each day. I think really powerful.
Okay, so what I think I'll do is I'll copy and paste this list, excuse me, into our chat pad so that you guys can copy and paste it easily into the notes section of your phone for whoever wants to do that, or you can write them down and create kind of your own checklist on a piece of paper. And then, yeah, every night, if you can come in here and update your points, I think that would be awesome. And then obviously, if you have, you know, something come up, just like throw it in the chat pod. Like, didn't get my points updated tonight, I'll do it in the morning, right? Like, you're not going to lose points for not updating this, but, you know, 3 days can get by without updating it. And then it's kind of like, what did I do again? You know, so yeah, I think if we kind of evaluate it every single day, that would be powerful.
Nicole, can you show me the top of this spreadsheet again? Do you think it's beneficial to okay, so I assume column B, the intent would be to put your number there. But do you think it's beneficial to do like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, like little columns so that Monday you would put a 4 or Tuesday you would put we almost need
I mean, there's a total points section for here for the day.
or you think of a tab for each day, like a full sheet for each day. Help me out. I just want to make
yeah, I know. I started to do another tab and I was like, I'm not sure. So so yeah, I could do a bar for each of these.
I was almost thinking if we split column B into like 10 more columns and you would just make them really small because you could do M, T, W, right, for the days of the week.
Yep.
And you would have Monday points, Monday time, Tuesday points, Tuesday time, Wednesday points, and then, you know, I can easily put a formula in total points and total time that would calculate that for you, so you wouldn't have to do that, and then you'd have a running weekly score. So I can play with this template. How's that? If you share the link, I can put some formulas in here and set that up. And then you would never, I'll highlight the columns that you won't ever have to update. I don't know what numbers they'll be as far as like letters. But you'll never have to update total points, total time, or your score, because I'll have the system do that. I'll put in formulas, so that happens for you. You just have to put in your points and your time for each day.
Perfect. So should I take out actions taken and just put the day of the week?
You can just leave it and then I can edit it.
Okay.
This won't officially start until tomorrow. Your point for planning the week, well, you can just put that on. Well, actually, that would start next Sunday, I would think. Well, I don't know. Is Sunday this week or next week?
I'd count it this week.
Okay.
Any other questions? So each Sunday, we're gonna like review this together during our planning meeting, and that's where we're gonna kind of spotlight one of you. So you guys like this morning slot better than like an evening slot? Yes. Yes. Okay. We'll try to do them in the mornings going forward. I'd like to keep these at like the same time, but our hockey schedule and Katie's schedule is ridiculous. So we're trying to figure this out, but stay tuned on next week for official. But yeah, I think this is going to be helpful. And the goal here really is to help you grow your income, right? That's why we're all here. That's why we're all doing this. You know, the end goal is to grow your income. And hopefully what we see is that your points increase week over week and your income starts to really show, right? Starts to really be the proof that what you're doing is working and being effective. And hopefully it's also going to help you guys just be more efficient with your time. So.
And was it Natasha Pearson who said this week that you can't evaluate if something is working or not working in your business until you've done it consistently for 30 days? So let's commit to this for the month of November. Even if you mentally are like, I don't like this idea. Like I was always against tracking, right? Like not gonna lie, it's very cumbersome for me. But just commit to it for the month of November and see if at the end of the month you generated more income in November than you did in October. And then you decide, was this worth it? Can I improve on this more? How can I pivot and make this better? Like this is really just designed for you to self-evaluate. So I too am committing to this for the month of November, and then won't make a decision on how we can improve it or change it or stop it or keep it going until December.
Love that. All right. Well, you guys, continue to work. Continue to knock out all of the things that Katie did in the first half hour. I need to sit here and finish some things up. Katie, I don't know if you want to stop the recording, or if you've got to go.